Aston Villa, they are back in Europe after Unai Emery come in midway through the season when they were looking like they were going to be relegated. He came in, he saved them and got them all the way in to 7th place, which means next season we are going to be in the Europa Conference League. They've made some fantastic signings this summer already with Moussa Diaby, Pau Torres and the free transfer of Youri Tielemans. They're a club that have won the Champions League way back in the 80s. They've won 7 Premier League titles, 7 FA Cups and 5 Carabao Cups, and it's time to get them back to the big time, winning trophies left, right and centre. The mighty Villatonians, let's get you back to the top. Today we're going to be using a 4-2-3-1, an Underdog 4-2-3-1 that was released on the Sortitoutsi website. So if you want to see a breakdown of that one, link is in the description. The tactic is unbelievable, and as you can see from the team, there's a very special man here at left wing, recently signed for Aston Villa from Bayern Leverkusen, has been fantastic in pre-season already, and Moussa Diaby is surely going to rip up the Premier League in real life. 25 years of age, outrageous pace, dribbling, finishing, crossing. He is fantastic in real life, and my 2 favourite things, he's consistent and he loves a big match. You know how much I love that one. Unai Emery has also brought in centre-back from Villarreal, Pau Torres, from his work lifting the Europa League last season. Pau Torres is now going to be at Aston Villa, and by last season I mean 2 years ago. Obviously they didn't win it last year. Pau Torres has been fantastic with Villarreal for the last couple of years, linked with teams like Manchester City, Manchester United. He's ended up here at Aston Villa underneath old faithful Unai Emery, and I think he's going to be fantastic for them as well. And a free transfer, an absolute coup of a signing in my opinion, is Youri Tielemans. Last season, not the greatest year for him or for Leicester overall as they got relegated, but I think this season we're going to see much more of the 21-22 Tielemans, a fantastic deep line playmaker who can also drive into the box and score some goals. I reckon him and Boubacar Kamara in midfield are going to be absolutely fantastic. There is obviously the man Jacob Ramsey as well in central attacking midfielder, Aston Villa through and through. We're going to look to develop him throughout this save as well because he looks absolutely fantastic, and honestly I've not made any other signings because them 3 signings, when you put them into that team, are enough I believe to get European football back to back for Aston Villa. Now in terms of the club info, they've got some fantastic training facilities of 20, youth facilities of 18, 17 in youth recruitment, so we should hopefully get some brilliant players come through the academy. There's already some decent players here. Tim Oregano-Begum is one, Cameron Archer, there's a few decent players in the under 18s as well. We're going to look to bring through some absolute stars over the next years. Now sadly, because of the way the simming worked, we actually aren't in Europe this season. I didn't realise that until this second, so that's great fun. So sadly we're not going to be in Europe because the save is buggered up, but you know, we'll move on anyway. We're going to have to get back into Europe anyway, so we might as well go ahead and do it. The goal for this 5 years is to lift a second Champions League. They've done it back in 1982 and it's now time to go and lift it again. So let's get right into it. Aston Villa season number 1. Let's go and bring a trophy or 2 home, shall we? We start the season incredibly strong, and I bring you here today to a 4-1 victory against Arsenal. Tielemans finally on Bailey down the line to make it 1-0 early on to the Villatonians. Second goal is going to come from Carlos and Kamara, some link up. Diaby with a fantastic ball over the top to Ollie Watkins, who have not even mentioned, had a fantastic season last season in the Premier League and is hopefully going to be fantastic for us for the next 5 years. We've got the ball here for Tielemans again. Buendia, ball over the top. And that man, Ollie Watkins, scores again. Arsenal are going to get a goal back. Trossard down the left-hand side. He's going to cut in, going to beat a man or two, going to blast it into the bottom corner for 3-1. But we weren't done yet, and Ollie Watkins was not done either. This man wanted his hat-trick, and Alex Moreno, a ball in the line to Moussa Diaby, found Ollie Watkins, and we demolished the team last season who pushed Man City all the way to the 2nd place in the Premier League. Demolished them 4-1, a hat-trick from Ollie Watkins, 49% possession, dominated them on shots and were absolutely fantastic in that game, and it put us in such a fantastic position for top 4. And another team we ended up battling for top 4 was Chelsea, and we've got a game here we won 3-2 at Stamford Bridge. Ziyech finding Lukaku, bursting through into goal and does open the scoring, but the Villatonians were not ready to give up that easy. Buendia with a ball into the box, Watkins with a header at the front post, he makes it 1-1. Kamara to Tyrone Mings, played at left back, Jacob Ramsey in the hole, a fantastic reverse pass through to Ollie Watkins for 2-1. Chelsea are going to pick us back to 2-0. Lukaku with some great bit of play with Conor Gallagher. Ryan Reece James on the right hand flank gets it into Ziyech, who blasts it home for 2-2. But of course, with the steal and the fight we have shown, we're going to get a third goal. And Kamara's going to whip it into Ezri Konsa, who makes it 3-2. And that means we beat Arsenal, we beat Chelsea, and we beat them both in the race for the top 4 in the Premier League. And we come third on 78 points, just 11 points behind Manchester City. 29 goals for this man, Ollie Watkins. A fantastic season. 33 goals and 2 assists over the whole season in 39 games. He is 29 years of age, but he is an outrageous footballer and is fantastic in front of goal. And I think FM really suits the way Ollie Watkins plays. Liverpool, 88 points, City and 89. So there were 2 obviously clear at the front, but we managed to pip Chelsea, Spurs, Arsenal, United, Newcastle, all of them to the post and finished third in this league. And in the Carabao Cup, we were knocked out in the 4th round by Manchester United, obviously the greatest team in the world, and the quarter-final in the FA Cup by Manchester City. The less said about them, the better. They're quite good, I think, aren't they? But a fantastic season this season. Overall, the team was absolutely brilliant. 14 goals and 13 assists in his first ever season in the Premier League, and that is Moussa Diaby. He has just had a lower back stress, which is a little bit unfortunate, but he is absolutely fantastic. A 4.5-star player. He's absolutely brilliant, and I genuinely cannot believe Aston Villa have got him in real life. I think the pull of Villa and sort of the setup they've got there is actually outrageously good, and it's a very exciting time to be an Aston Villa fan. So congratulations to you lot. You've been through some rough times, and it's now going to get fantastic. The man who he actually kept out of his team in Bayer Leverkusen, Leon Bailey, joined Aston Villa a couple of years ago. His old mate Moussa Diaby is back to keep him out of the team, but with 10 goals and 11 assists, he is certainly going to be trying to keep his spot in this side. Felipe Coutinho, 6 goals, 7 assists. Jean Durand, 4 goals and 2 assists. And Emi Buendia was fantastic in this formation. Now, I did make a 4-4-2 Unai Emery tactic with false 9, Buendia, and advanced forward Ollie Watkins. And Buendia in this sort of centre attacking midfielder role with 3 goals and 13 assists is a fantastic season here. Great dribbling, great flair, determination, technique, good pace. We know how good he is. And that man, Jacob Ramsey, just the 1 goal and 4 assists this season. Not too many starts, to be honest. Just 6 starts, 20 off the bench. We're going to try and get him some more game time as we go through. In the transfers, we've got £55 million to spend. The board are going to give us some sweet cash after securing Champions League football. Finances are looking good, and in the under-18s in terms of development, our first youth intake has come through, and we've had an absolute superstar come through already. Noel Ellis with 20 determination, 19 flair, great pace, great finishing, dribbling and first touch. Already, this guy looks fantastic. 16 goals and 7 assists in 19 non-competitive games. A value of 30 to 53 million. At the age of 15, we might have an absolute wonder kid on our hands, so we'll keep an eye on how Noel Ellis produces over the next couple of years. Let's get right into making some signings. There's a few players here we're going to look to probably move on from. Maybe Diego Carlos at the back, maybe a backup striker rather than John Duran, maybe a really good central attacking midfielder as well. So let's get right into things for Season 1's transfers. Let's make some serious deals. Well, I said we're going to make in some big transfers for season number 2, and this is one that I did not think was going to happen. Chelsea are in dire need of a brand new goalkeeper, and they decided Emiliano Martinez was going to be that man. An offer of £42.5 million come in the door, and I said yes, and I think that's decent money. 32 years of age, he's a fantastic goalkeeper, but for that sort of money at 32 years of age, there's certainly other goalkeepers out there I would like to go and get. And the man who brought in to replace him is Justin Bijlow from Feyenoord. £27.5 million with add-ons we ended up paying for him. Fantastic goalkeeper, great at distribution, great goalkeeper in terms of saving as well. Very consistent, loves a big match. My 2 favourite things. And to be honest, I think it's a very sideways move, but we've made £20 million and we've got a goalkeeper 5 years younger, and I'm very happy with that signing. I mentioned a backup striker was going to be needed this year as well, and Arnold Colimendo is the man I've gone and brought in from Rennes. He was an absolute bargain at just £27.5 million. Scored 12 goals in 30 games last season in League 1, and his stats are outrageously good. 16 off the ball, 16 acceleration, great finishing, dribbling, work rate, passing, technique. He really could be a man that takes over from Ollie Watkins, and guess what? He's consistent and he loves a big match, and I'm very happy to get in Calimendo to be our backup striker. Cole Palmer has also joined the club. £19.5 million from Manchester City last season. Didn't get too much game time at all. 3 games starting, 11 off the bench. Has forced his way out of Manchester City, and he's now here at Aston Villa. I think it's That's a very, very good signing. 23 years of age. You've recently seen how good he was in the Under-21s World Cup, and hopefully he can come in here at City and be a fantastic rotation between him and Jacob Ramsey. That central attack midfield spot is very, very exciting. I think you will agree, and that was just a mere fee of £19.5 million. Diego Calai hasn't brought in as the backup to Justin Bilo. 2-star current ability, 4-star potential ability, a backup goalkeeper for £8.5 million. Not sure we'll see too much of him, but if he does progress, that'll be absolutely fantastic. And an unbelievable signing as well. Alex Moreno is going to drop to our backup left back. Luca Digne has left the club. This guy is extremely consistent. He loves big matches. His name is Owen Window. Just £23 million from Ajax after moving from AZ Alkmaar early in his career. A fantastic left back. Very brave, great pace, great dribbling, great crossing. And I think them 6 signings are superb for the squad. Now, obviously, we're in Champions League football next year. We've got the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, the Premier League, and I think we have massively developed the squad to be, honestly, absolutely brilliant. I think this is sort of our best sort of 11. Bilo in goal, Cash, Carlos, Torres, and Window as the back 5. Tielemans and Kamara in midfield, still Diaby on the left, Bailey on the right with Buendia in cam. Now the backups, you've got Calai, Chambers, Konsa, Mings, Moreno, Douglas Luiz, Tim Orengo Begum, Cole Palmer, Jacob Ramsey, Alan Velasco and Kulimendi. Now I haven't mentioned Velasco. Great potential in him, 16 dribbling, great pace, decisions, composure, first touch. Shouldn't be consistent, loves a big match. 3-star current ability, 4-star potential ability, and there's another great signing for that wing spot. So we've now got Bailey, Diaby, Palmer and Velasco for them wing spots, Ramsey and Buendia as the 2 cams, Watkins and Calimendo as the 2 strikers. And I think we've actually built a squad which is going to absolutely, you know, we are set for the next 3 or 4 years, and I think we could genuinely challenge for the Premier League in the next 2 to 3 seasons, maybe even lift in a few cups along the way as well. So let's get right into it. Season number 2. Want to get back-to-back Champions League qualification and maybe lift a little FA Cup or Carabao Cup. Season 2, Aston Villa. Let's get right into it. Well, I mentioned we signed a striker to be a backup to Ollie Watkins, and that man was Arnaud Kulimendo. What I didn't know is he was going to come in and score 40 goals and get 3 assists and dispossess Ollie Watkins of that starting number 9 spot in his first season, and he was absolutely fantastic. 28 goals in the Premier League alone and fired us all the way to the top 5. We got Champions League football yet again. Was absolutely dominant this season in our team. Ollie Watkins was still really good off the bench. 9 goals and 5 assists. Obviously 30 years of age. Maybe during the sim, the assistant manager decides to go the more youthful approach of Calimendo. Moussa Diaby, 20 goals and 10 assists is absolutely fantastic, and I'm buzzing with how he is progressing here at the club. He's already wanted by Newcastle and Atletico Madrid, but I'm going to do my absolute hardest to keep him here for the full time. Cole Palmer, 29 games off the bench, 7 goals, 2 assists and 5 starts. Emi Buendia, 8 and 7. Alan Velasco, 7 goals and 22 assists. Jacob Ramsey played much more games this season, 40 overall with 4 assists as well. Kamara and Tielemans, great in midfield, and the back line was extremely strong, and that shows in our data hub. 1.74 goals per game, and we were above average on goals conceded per game as well. And like I mentioned in the Premier League, we did manage to get back into Champions League football, coming 5th place here, managed to secure us it with the new Champions League phase, so it's exciting to be back there again. Calimendo, 2nd top goal scorer behind some Norwegian geezer who I don't think anyone has ever heard of in their life. Champions League as well, we did very well. We got all the way to the quarterfinals, so we lost 8-1 on aggregate, granted, to Real Madrid, but I'm very happy we got all the way to the quarters. I mean, very impressive that we did. And I mean, this game here at Villa Park, we actually dominated Real Madrid, but sadly didn't get the win. The midfield of Tchouameni, Camavinga and Bellingham did quite well. So not surprising to see Real Madrid did go all the way to the final, but ended up losing to Manchester City, I believe, which, you know, again, that Haaland guy is quite good. But FA Cup, we got 3rd rounded by Liverpool. A little bit frustrating in the Carabao Cup, quarter-final by Arsenal as well. So we seemed to be losing to the big clubs in them competitions. So it means we're being extremely consistent against teams around us. Just need to progress that a little bit further to beat the big boys. At the top 4 was Chelsea winning the league on 76, Arsenal on 2nd on 76, City on 3rd on 75, and Liverpool in 4th on 75. And we were the best of the rest on 66. But the fact the top 4 was decided by a point is quite simply outrageous. Man City got one more point that have won the league on goal difference, and the same for Liverpool as well. Both of them absolutely storming past Chelsea and Arsenal. This season we've got another £50 million spend, which is brilliant. £300,000 in wage budget as well. So we'll have to see what we can do in terms of our money. And again, in terms of the youth facilities here at the club, the under-18s, we've had a few more 5-star potential come through. We've got Mohamed Kolosha, who is a midfielder, Egyptian, and he can play anywhere down the middle. Centre-back, centre-mid, striker, whatever you want, he'll do it. He just loves playing football. 18 determination, 14 finishing, 14 dribbling. He's got 8 marking, 13 tackling, and also 9 heading, so he can actually do a job at centre-half as well. And in terms of his ball playing ability, just a 7 on passing. So maybe he's a centre-back or a striker, yet to decide. Mohamed Kolosha, keep an eye on this guy. And Noel Ellis has progressed very, very well. Obviously, with 20 determination, he is going to be absolutely fantastic. So we'll keep an eye on him. Season 3's transfers, £50 million to spend. There's a few players that are aging just a little bit and need to maybe be replaced. If we look at the sort of average age of the squad, we've got Coutinho, Mings, Carlos Moreno, Chambers and Watkins all above the age of 30. So some youngsters to maybe bring in and get some new youthful talent into this side for season number 3. That's exactly what we've gone ahead and done, and brought in Nathan Patterson from Everton, a fantastic right back to replace Matty Cash. £38 million was the fee. Everton, obviously in the Premier League, a very decent side, and we have gone ahead and pipped their star boy. Nathan Patterson, fantastic pace, great acceleration, stamina is really key on him as well. Consistent, loves a big match, great crossing, great dribbling, decent defending as well, and is certainly going to progress into being one of the best right backs in the world. Already a value of £67 million for Nathan Patterson, so very happy to get that signing over the line. Alberto Moliero is a signing that has been to Burnley in our saves, so he loves playing in claret and blue, but he starts off at Las Palmas, and we've brought him in for £20 million, and I think you'll agree this guy is absolutely outrageous. 17 dribbling, 16 first touch, 16 passing, 17 technique, 17 off the ball, 17 vision, 16 flair, 16 agility, and it reminds me of a very young David Silva. So David Silva just retired. This is his regen, Alberto Moliero. Go and find him in your saves because he is absolutely fantastic, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do here at Aston Villa over the next few years. Ousmane Diomande is the next signing, £37 million, a release clause from Sporting, 22 years of age, a fantastic centre-half, and again I think it's quite a realistic step from him coming from Sporting to come to the mighty club of Aston Villa. After back-to-back seasons in the Champions League, we are starting to be able to pull players from their clubs, which is very, very exciting. Some great stats in him as well. I mean, everyone knows this guy. He's outrageously good, and guess what? His value is already £87 million, and guess what? He's a consistent. He likes the big match. There's a bit of a theme here with the best players in this game. They all seem to have the same thing in common. And you can see that was our 3 only signings, as well as Calimundo and Bijlow in the last season. Douglas Luiz has left the club to go to Brentford for £40 million. A really good player, but over the last 2 years has been a sort of bit part player for us, making most of his appearances off the bench in both seasons. So we'll have to see what he can go and do over at Brentford. And speaking of moving to Brentford, Leon Bailey also got his move, because last season he didn't play quite as many games, just 4 starts, 19 off the bench, £12 million. Happy to get that one over the line. Hopefully he can go and do some bits. I mean, Diaby replaced him in real life a few years ago at Leverkusen. He's done the exact same thing here at Aston Villa. I mean, the team is looking absolutely brilliant. Diaby and Villasco on the wings, Ramsey in cam, Calimundo as a starting striker with Kamara and Tielemans in midfield, Patterson at right back, Diomande, Torres and Windal as the back four, with Justin Bijlow in goal. The backups are Calais, Cash, Cardos, Konsa, Moreno, Origabegum, Palmer, Ellis, the 16-year-old is now in the first team, Buendia, Moliero and Ollie Watkins. What an unbelievable sign. I've got a few of the good wonder kids here as well, and I'm looking forward to seeing if Noel Ellis, now he's in the first team at 17 years of age, gets any starts and what he can do. So, I mean, we might as well go into it, mightn't we? Season number 3, we need to lift a few trophies before we leave this off. So an FA Cup, a Carabao Cup, maybe a little bit too early for a Champions League or a Premier League. Who knows? Let's go into it. Season 3, let's lift some silverware. And lift some trophies is exactly what we are here to do. A 2-0 victory against Brentford in the FA Cup final, who signed Douglas Luiz and Leon Bailey from us. Well, they couldn't keep Ollie Watkins from scoring a brace in an FA Cup final here at Wembley and lifting Villa's first trophy in many, many years. We absolutely dominated this game with 24 shots, 9 on target at 2.43 XG and 49% possession against Brentford, who are a very, very good side. but had nothing on the mighty Aston Villa. The Premier League, again, went very similar to last season, finishing in 5th place, 69 points. So I think a minor improvement on last season. And very happy because Liverpool, Chelsea, City, Spurs, we are the best of the rest still. We're keeping Arsenal and United out of any European competition. Well, the main one anyway, the Champions League. And one man that is certainly helping us get there is a little Argentinian called Alan Velasco. Now 17 goals and 13 assists is absolutely fantastic. And like I mentioned, signed for just £7 million from FC Dallas, is an absolute baller. Extremely consistent, loves a big match. 16 dribbling, 16 composure, 16 acceleration, 16 pace, 16 off the ball, 17 vision, and is an outrageous player. And, you know, one of the best players in this side, and someone who's had an absolute revival in season number 3 is Ollie Watkins. He wasn't happy last season being the backup to Calimundo, so he come in this season with a chip on his shoulder, scored 26 goals and 7 assists, and managed to outscore Calimundo in the league. Calimundo 24 goals and 2 assists. They pretty much played half and half in the game, so very happy with them two sharing that front spot. And it's sort of the plan when I brought Calimundo in was for that to happen. Extremely consistent, loves a big match, great player, 16 finishing. Very happy with the signing of him. Moussa Diaby this season, get 12 goals and 15 assists. Aston Villa fans, this should be making you very, very excited for the upcoming season of Moussa Diaby, because your team is actually absolutely fantastic. I mean, the team we've built as well is obviously absolutely brilliant. A few, you know, signings in there that haven't been made in real life. Bijlow, Patterson, Diamande, Windale helping that backline massively. The two midfielders of Kamara and Tielemans are absolutely brilliant. And I think they really do add, you know, I think Tielemans adds a lot to that midfield rather than John McGinn, who, don't get me wrong, is a fantastic player and went quite early doors in RE, but I think Tielemans adds that little bit of quality in midfield next to a destroyer of Boubacar Kamara. Diaby and Velasco on the wings, Jacob Ramsey in Cam had a very good season this season as well. 7 goals and 3 assists in 50 appearances overall, so he is now getting quite a lot of game time and becoming a bit of a Villa cult hero, so happy to get him in. Noel Ellis, how did he do in season 1? Well, he played 1 start and come off the bench once, but, you know, progressing well, and it's sort of to be expected. He is just 17 years of age. He's still got that 5-star potential, so very happy that he's now made his debut for the club. He is still only 17 as well. He's wanted by 17 clubs on loan because he's that good. So we'll see, maybe season 4, Noel Ellis will go out on loan. We've got a lot of money to spend, £68 million. I'm not sure if I mentioned Champions League. We've got a quarter-finaled by Chelsea, went on to win it. Just a 3-1 loss, so not getting battered there is quite nice. And the Carabao Cup, we got 3rd rounded by Reading, which is a little bit frustrating. And going on to win the Carabao Cup was Norwich, the Canaries. What the hell? A bit of a weird season with us winning the FA Cup, then winning the Carabao Cup, Liverpool winning the Premier League. 3 teams you probably wouldn't expect to start lifting trophies. But season number 4, like I said, £70 million to go and spend. In terms of the younger, the wonder kids we've got, Mohamed Nader is a new one, Egyptian right winger. Again, Egyptians coming through here at Aston Villa. Mohamed Kalosha looks absolutely fantastic and is actually developing into the position I didn't think he was as a midfielder. 16 bravery, 17 determination, great stamina as well. Again, very good tackling and finishing. Maybe could be a jack of all trades. I've got no idea what he's going to turn into. But at 18 years of age, he's made 2 caps for Egypt already. So very excited to see what he can go on and do. And a few 4-star players as well in the club. So great to see we're developing the whole club, not just the first team. Season 4, we need to make some big transfers. We need more and more trophies. Just an FA Cup is not going to satisfy me. I want a European trophy. And at this point, it looks like it's going to have to be a Champions League. So let's go ahead and spend some moolah. Before I do get into the free signings of this summer, if you guys can make sure to just like the video, subscribe to the channel, and a massive thank you to the Patreons on screen as well. You are literally helping my dreams come true of making content, and you guys have no idea how thankful I am for you. This rebuild file is available in my Patreon link as well. So if Aston Villa fans or anyone a fan of football, if you want to pick up from where we leave this save, that file will be in the description, and it doesn't have to be the last save either. You can pick up from any of the season, any of the 5 seasons. Just let me know which one you want, and I'll send it over because I'm a nice guy. Now, number 1 signing is Warren Zaire-Emery, obviously a PSG wonder kid, signed for £32.5 million. Has played a few games here and there for PSG, but wants to come in and be a sort of very strong rotation option for Boubacar Kamara, and I think suits that really, really well. A fantastic talented player, 2.5-star current ability, 5-star potential ability. So very excited to see what Warren can do. And for just £32 million, I think as a very well-rounded midfielder is a fantastic signing to bring in for Aston Villa. Juan Larios is our left-back signing to come in and battle with Owen Window. Now, this guy is absolutely brilliant. Again, come through the Manchester City Academy, moved to Southampton in real life, and he looks absolutely fantastic. Some outrageous pace, some great crossing and dribbling, and 23 years of age, signed for just £25 million. A great signing, and is hopefully going to go on to be the best left back in the world. Now, Jeremy Murray is our first region signing, and for £2.5 million, I think you'll say is an absolute bloody bargain. I mean, this guy was playing in Peru, and he managed to come up in the scouts, and he's a little bit good. 16 tackling, 16 technique, and 16 work rate, 17 balance, 6'3", I think that is, 8 caps for Peru at 19 years of age, and he's probably going to go on to be one of the best centre-backs in footballing history. So very excited to see what Jeremy Murray can come in and do. He picked us over like PSG, etc. So excited to see what he can do. The club, again, the squad, Bilo, Patterson, Diamande, Torres, Window, Tielemans and Zaire Emery now in midfield of Diaby, Velasco, Ramsey and Kelly Mundo. The backups, again, looking very, very strong. A few players ended up leaving this season. Tyrone Mings left for 3. Alex Moreno also the same. And Diego Carlos left for £2.5 million to Almira. So a few players leaving. A few of the older guys heading out as well. So I'll be excited to see this season as we have now sort of sorted out a little bit of an age crisis of a few now. Just 4 players over 30, and that's Tielemans, Pau Torres, Buendia and Watkins, 4 absolute bankers. And Noel Ellis, Murray, Zaire Emery and Kalai now providing under 23. So very happy to get a bit more youth into the side. We're in 5 competitions this season. We might as well go and tick off the Community Shield as well. It's only against Liverpool, so that should be fairly easy. A Carabao Cup, FA Cup, Champions League, Premier League. We can win a 5-tuple here, can't we? Well, I'll tell you what, the goal was to bring a Champions League back to Aston Villa for the first time since 1982, and that is exactly what we have done. The Champions League final against the team that knocked us out in the quarterfinals last season, Chelsea. Arnau Calimundo from the first season has been absolutely outrageous, and in this game he tore Chelsea apart. A Champions League final hat-trick, an absolute dominant display as well, and he doubled the amount of shots, doubled the XG, and Chelsea were just chasing shadows out there, and we have won the Champions League for the first time, like I said, since 1982. Feels good to see Villa back at the top. 3 years of English domination. Very happy to see that indeed. I mean, if we now go into the Villa history, I think I'm surely an absolute legend. Champions League 1982 and 2027. Villa fans, you haven't got too long to wait. Don't you worry about that. There's going to be one coming up very, very soon for you. Community Shield, sadly, we actually lost on penalties to Liverpool. So I don't know what happened there. We must have played the under-18s to lose to Liverpool. So a little bit frustrating, but you know, we move on. We did win the biggest trophy in world history. A Carabao Cup, we tried to win the second biggest, but lost to Arsenal in this one, sadly 4-1 on aggregate. And Arsenal won and got battered by Chelsea in the final as well. So I suppose we'll let Chelsea have that one, shall we? And the FA Cup as well. We were third rounded again by a crap side in Watford, a 1-0 loss. So a little bit frustrating, but doesn't matter. We won the Champions League, and the Premier League, I'm very glad we won the Champions League because we come all the way down in 7th place, 64 points, so very similar to what we have been putting up recently in terms of numbers, but other teams massively progressed. Chelsea, 90 points this season. And I mean, they also won the Premier League, so they were very close to doing a treble. United on 76, City 76, Liverpool 72, Arsenal and Newcastle on 65 and 64, and us on 64, Palace on 64, and West Ham in 9th as well on 55, also getting European football. No one in the Europa Conference. Oh, Norwich are in the Europa League. Have Norwich gone ahead and done it? They've won the Europa Conference League. Norwich have got Europa League football in the Championship. That's going to be good fun for them. In terms of the squad selection in first, we go to 34 goals and 3 assists for Calimundo this season. 17 and 17 for Moussa Diaby. He has been outrageously good. 14 and 7 for a 32-year-old Ollie Watkins. Very happy with that. And 13 and 13 for Velasco. 10 and 11 for Cole Palmer. 9 and 10 for Moniero. 7 and 9 for Buendia. 6 and 2 for Jacob Ramsey. We really are a very well-drilled squad. And after winning the Champions League, the board aren't done there. £103 million is what we've got to go and spend. The finances are looking extremely strong here at the club as well. And if we head again, looking at 5-star potential, Kyle Walsh is the latest wonder kid to come through the Aston Villa Academy. He looks fantastically good, doesn't he? And a few 4.5-star players in here. If I show you now, Noel Ellis, wherever he is looking very, very good. 1 game starting, 8 off the bench this season, a value of £73 million. Hopefully, this guy is still going to progress, and you guys are going to have fun picking this up in the Patreon if you do pick this up. He looks absolutely brilliant. So make sure you get the best out of Noel Ellis. I mean, season number 5, I guess we've sort of got to go and try and win the Premier League in this one. We've won the Champions League, we've won the FA Cup, we've won the Champions League, we need to win the Carabao Cup, Community Shield and Premier League to complete this rebuild. So season 5, let's get into it, see what we can spend this £103 million on. Well, I mentioned we were going to spend £103 million, and we've managed to double that to £200 million because Ousmane Diomande has left to Liverpool for £110 million, but basically 3 times the money we spent on him over 2 seasons. He's come here, he's lifted the Champions League trophy, and he's gone to Liverpool to see if he can help them do one, because they're in dire need of some improvement at the back with that guy Van Dijk. It's probably about 40 now, so 16 marking, tackling. He's off to Liverpool, to the pop. He's got a value of £255 million. I think you'll have to agree we had to sell him for that sort of money. I mean, that is absolutely outrageous. Another player that has left the club is Emi Buendia, has gone to SC Bayern Munich for £27.5 million, 31 years of age, and that's actually some very good money for him. So happy to get that money in the door, and it gave us £184 million of spending, and signing one is Mohamed Kudus. After Buendia leaving, a backup cam is someone we want to bring in, and Kudus has been smashing it at Ajax over in the Eredivisie, so £41 million. We decided to bring him here to Aston Villa. 16 composure, great dribbling, finishing, first touch, great technique, great pace. We know how good this guy is in real life, and guess what? He's extremely consistent, but doesn't like big matches, so I've gone against the golden rule. Absolute shocker from me. Nico Seiwald is the next signing after a very successful career, moving to RB Leipzig, going to Borussia Dortmund. He is now here at Aston Villa. The little ginger centre midfielder is fantastic. This guy is extremely consistent and does love big matches, and is a massive improvement in the midfield. Probably from Yuri Tielemans, it would be Seiwald and Warren Zaire-Emery and Boubacar Kamara as the 3. I mean, and add Tielemans into that. That's 4 fantastic midfielders. So very happy with this signing for just the little fee of £60 million. I mean, we doubled what Dortmund paid for him, but I think he's a really big improvement in midfield, and great stamina, fitness, anticipation, first touch, passing. A great signing, if you ask me, is Nico Seiwald. Dennis Seaman has come in as another goalkeeper to now replace Justin Bijlo-Kalari. The Sporting geezer has left. He didn't end up to be anything, and Dennis Seaman always ends up being something. At 22 years of age, I think I've signed you guys the best goalkeeper in the world in the next 2 to 3 seasons. A fantastic goalkeeper. We know how good Dennis Seaman is, and for £30 million is an absolute no-brainer to bring in here at Villa. And the last signing I've made to replace Ousmane Diomande, who left for over £100 million, is Mark Guehi. Now, he has been absolutely smashing it at Crystal Palace, and is now going to come to a big club in the Premier League and absolutely smash it here as well. £53 million, great defensively, value of 70 million. Now got 10 caps for England as well. Some great strength, pace, fitness, great defender, and great anticipation. And he's a consistent player, and he loves a big match. Of course he does. And in terms of the squad now, we're looking at Seaman, Patterson, Guehi, Torres and Window. Now, Torres I haven't mentioned at all in this rebuild because he's just been ticking along very nicely, pretty much at a 6.8 to a 7 rating, playing pretty much every single game, being a fantastic centre-half as he is in real life. So Aston Villa, fantastic signing in Pau Torres. Seiwald and Tielemans are the 2 midfielders of Diaby, Velasco, Ramsey and Calimundo. Bijlo, Cash, Mori, Konsa, Larios, Kamara, Zaire-Emery, Kudus, Palmer and Moliero make up the team there. And there's a player missing, and that player is Ollie Watkins. Now, I actually didn't realise he left until after I finished season number 5. So we actually only had Calimundo. His contract ran out and I didn't notice it, which is absolutely infuriating. And I think he's going to go back. Well, he's going to go to Southampton as well. So we have only got 1 striker this season. So we might have sold ourselves down the river. We've got 5 trophies to go and win. The Carabao Cup, FA Cup, Super Cup, Champions League and Premier League. Let's go ahead and see what we can do, shall we? Season 5, let's win some more trophies. Maybe even back-to-back Champions Leagues, eh? We're going to start things off. UEFA Super Cup. We're going to lift a massive trophy to start the season. Pau Torres scoring the first goal. Cole Palmer trying to find a Moliero. Going to battle for the ball and get it back for her second goal for him. And we're going to score a third from Cole Palmer, finding Velasco to the left-hand side. He's going to beat his man and put it in the bottom corner before Newcastle were going to come in and get a goal. But we lifted the UEFA Super Cup very early on in the season. A fantastic confidence builder for the rest of the season. We absolutely dominated this game as well. 20 shots, doubling their XG. And again, 49% possession seems to be a pretty big thing in this sort of save with Aston Villa. And winning trophies against Brentford is another thing that continues to happen. A 1-0 victory in the Carabao Cup final from Arnau Culimendo against Brentford. Very, very happy with that one. I mean, their team, you can see in the bottom left, is actually very good as well. A midfield of Højbjerg, Douglas Luiz and Gravenberch with a front three of Bacharina, Kangin Lee and Damsgaard. Brentford, fair play to you. Very exciting. If you want to see a Brentford rebuild, get that down in the comments below. But a 1-0 victory, very happy to lift another trophy, and that is 2 ticked off the list. The other 2 are the Community Shield, which we're not in this season, and the Premier League. So I don't know if we've won any of them, but there is a trophy that we won last season, which would be very nice to go back to back. I mean, 1982, 2027, 2028, another Champions League to add to the list, and this one is against Real Madrid. Velasco is going to do a hat-trick. Calimundo did it last season. It's time for Velasco to go ahead and do it. Camavinga to Wirtz to Edinburgh Town shows how good this Real Madrid squad is. But 2 goals just after half-time from that man. Kudus finding Velasco, who played down the middle in this game due to Calimundo's injury. Fantastic, fantastic player. Scalvini on the ball for Real Madrid. Dilly-dallying on the ball. Velasco's going to take it off him. He's going to put it in the bottom corner. And Aston Villa are back-to-back Champions League winners, which is absolutely fantastic. I mean, I did not think this would be happening at the start of this rebuild. So very happy with that one. 18 goals in the Champions League for Calimundo. 10 assists for Mohamed Kudus as well. In the Premier League, guess what? We've not won it. I mean, it would have been fantastic to say we won a quadruple, but that has not happened. We've come 6th and 64 points. So your guys' goal was definitely to make this team more consistent. I mean, looking at the data hub, it seems to be that we sort of go through little spells where we do absolutely outrageous and then not so good, absolutely outrageous and not so good. So you guys have got to come in and you've got to sort this schedule out, make it so we win every single game, because we seem to win the big games, but maybe sometimes dropping some points through the season. 1.97 XG, 1.16 conceded per game. Very happy. And I mean, you guys will love playing with the squad. 49 goals for Calimundo, 20 goals, 18 assists from Moussa Diaby, who continues to get better and better. 15 goals and 4 assists for Noel Ellis, who was out on loan at Watford and now actually looks absolutely outrageous after a full season playing in the Championship. He looks ready for first team football. Mo Kudus with 15 and 17. Velasco 14 and 15. Alberto Morello 10 and 18. 5 goals, 10 assists for Kamara. 8 and 7 for Jacob Ramsey, who has been on the fringe of the team for the whole season, but 5 seasons consistently playing over 25 games. I'm sure he'll be very happy with that in real life. So very happy with this Aston Villa rebuild. We lifted an FA Cup, a Carabao Cup, 2 Champions Leagues and a UEFA Super Cup. You've got to go ahead and win the Champions League. That is down in the Patreon below. And if you've not seen it already, rebuilds have been flying out on this channel, including an Inter Milan one just the other day. So head down there and watch that one. Newcastle have got brand new rich owners, and Eddie Howe has taken them all the way into the top 4 in his first full season. A very, very impressive season, but now it's time to take them to the next level. We've recreated Eddie Howe's 4-3-3 tactic. We're going to give him the assistant manager role with Jason Tindall as we take charge of Newcastle for the next 5 years in a realistic rebuild. Make sure you're sticking around because we're going to make some unbelievable signings with that lovely money we have got here at Newcastle. We're going to develop the club massively in terms of facilities, and hopefully we can make Newcastle a European powerhouse. What's going on there, guys? Kempi here, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video from myself. Thank you for coming back to another rebuild of mine. Massive thank you for the support on the Brighton one recently, on the Arsenal, Chelsea, United. You guys love these realistic rebuilds, and we're going to keep them coming this week. And this is the first week as well of 3 rebuilds in 1 week. Today is Newcastle, and the battle is going to be up against Aston Villa, a team in a very similar situation with less of the Saudi money, but still a very good club spending lots of money. That's going to be coming on Wednesday and Thursday with the Unai Emery tactics and the Villa rebuild. But today is Newcastle, and Newcastle's rebuild is a very, very interesting one. Now, we know they've got unbelievable finances. That is not in question whatsoever, but The club itself has got absolutely shocking training facilities on the game. In real life, they have just moved into a completely new complex, which is stunning. But in game, 11 training facilities and 10 youth facilities, 11 junior coaching and 14 youth recruitment, and that is no way for a club of Newcastle size to be run, and we're going to be changing that around today. We've made a few signings as well. We've gone as realistic as possible. We've brought in Mark Gehi as well as Tonali. He's going to be our centre-back, our first signing centre-back, and a very, very good one at that as well. I've seen a few links between Gehi and Newcastle from Crystal Palace. A fantastic young centre-half. 40 million pounds we spent on him. 80 million he was signed for Palace just 2 years ago, and hopefully he is going to be an absolutely fantastic player for us. Great pace, loves the consistency, and great in big matches as well. And the next signing up is an absolutely massive one as well. Federico Chiesa has come in to Geordieland in Newcastle, and he's going to absolutely love it. An Italian joining Sandro Tonali on that right hand side. Now, he has been linked with Newcastle. I'm aware in the last 24 hours they have stepped up a chase for Harvey Barnes. This has been simmed over the weekend when it was looking more like Federico Chiesa, so that is the only possibly unrealistic thing, is they might have switched from Chiesa to Harvey Barnes, but I'm very happy I've got Federico Chiesa because he's an unbelievable winger. A value of £100 million. You have to spend £45 million to get him in from Juventus, but I'm very happy that we have some fantastic pace, some fantastic determination and work rate, and hopefully he is going to be a fantastic player for us. We are using the 4-3-3 we built from Eddie Howe's formation. We've got Chiesa and Maximan on the wings, Alexander Isak up top, Joe Linton, Tonali and Bruno Guimaraes in CDM. Matt Target and Trippier as the two wing backs, with Botman and Gehi at the back. Nick Pope in goal as well. Some very good backups here at Newcastle as well. We've got Loris Karius as the backup goalkeeper. Harrison Ashby, a right back with some very, very good potential. Kellen Watts and Fabian Schär, the two backup centre backs, with Dan Burn staying on as our backup left back. Sean Longstaff, Elliot Anderson and Joe Willock as the backup midfielders, with Miggy Almiron, Anthony Gordon and Callum Wilson. Mr. FM himself as the backup striker. Carl Darlow, Paul Dummett and Jacob Murphy are staying around for European registration because the Champions League we are in this season after Eddie Howe doing absolute wonders last year. Luckily, we're going to have good fun in the Champions League. And the goal for this rebuild of the next 5 years is to win every single trophy. I want to win the Premier League once, I want to win the Champions League once, I want to win the FA Cup once, and I want to win the Carabao Cup once as well. Maybe the Super Cup and the Charity Shield as well. But I want to leave no stone unturned over the next 5 years as Newcastle manager. Obviously, we're going to have to battle up against Manchester City, against Arsenal, against Manchester United, Chelsea with their new riches as well. So it's going to be a difficult rebuild, but hopefully we can make it work. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Season number 1. Let's see what we can do in the Premier League and the Champions League, and hopefully we can lift the trophy in our first season. Well, if you guys can, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel and follow on these 4 wonderful things as well. I've got Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Threads, Twitch, YouTube second accounts as well, so make sure you're subscribing and following on everything you can. And a massive shout out as well, nice and early on, to these legendary Patreon members who are going to have access to this Newcastle rebuild file down in the link description. £5 per month. You get a link to every single rebuild file we do at the end of season 5, and if you want a specific season, I'll send that to you as well, because why on earth not? And a massive thank you to them as well, because you're literally making my dreams come true. So a massive thank you. And we're going to start things off with absolute heartbreak this season. We got all the way to a Champions League final at Wembley, here with Newcastle in season number 1. We lost 1-0 to an Eduardo Camavinga goal. I mean, it's a decent midfield, isn't it? Of Tchouaméni, Jude Bellingham, Camavinga, Fede Valverde, Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo up front as well. Ferland Mendy, David Alaba, Militao, Carvajal and Courtois. It's a good side. And the Newcastle side is a very one, which you can see in real life. It's Nick Pope, Trippier at right back, Schär, Gehi and Botman was the back 4, with Bruno Guimaraes, Tonali, Willock, Chiesa, Joelinton, Isak up top. And we just didn't turn up on the day. 48% possession, 0 shots on target. Maybe a little bit overwhelmed by the occasion, which is a bit of a shame, but very happy to get that far in the Champions League in season 1. 5th place in the Premier League as well does secure Champions League, with the Premier League with the Champions League now moving to the league phase. 5th place in the Premier League has been given to ourselves, which I'm absolutely buzzing, because we are going to stay in the Champions League for season 2. The FA Cup, we lost to Blackpool of all clubs, who first in League 1. Yeah, not great. And Carabao Cup, third rounded by Brentford. So the goal to tick off every trophy for season 1 has not quite worked out, but luckily we've got the Saudis in charge and they've got 221 million for us this summer to spend on some players, £245,000 in wage budget as well, and you can already see we have not yet made any changes to the facilities, but that is going to be a goal over this summer. Hopefully with this ridiculous pool of money we're going to be able to improve that nice and easy. In terms of the players this season as well that performed very good, Alex Isak with 23 goals, 1 assist, Callum Wilson with 19 goals as the backup striker, 30 off the bench, so Maximan 10 and 9, Chiesa 8 and 11, Joe Willock with 8 and 9 did very well, Fabian Schär scoring 6 goals, Gehi with 5 goals, 7 assists come from Sanchez with a decent first season, hopefully going to adapt to life in the Premier League even better. Kieran Trippier with 9 assists as well was good to see. Miggy Almiron 2 goals, 5 assists as a backup has not done too bad, but certainly some improvements we made in this Newcastle squad. And what I'm going to be doing so we don't absolutely break this rebuild within 2 seasons, I'm making 3 big signings in the first 11 for the first season, which is going to be great fun because, you know, it might be that we replace Joe Linton, Matt Targett and Nick Pope season 1. We're still going to have Trippier, Gehi, Botman, Guimaraes, Tonali, Maximan, Chiesa, Isak. So hopefully we're not going to progress too quickly because it's very easy to do so when you get £221 million. If we're keeping things realistic, they can't just rip up a club and start afresh. So hopefully we can keep things nice and realistic and get some good signings in. So season 2 we're going to fly into right away and hopefully we can lift our first trophy. Well, for season 2 we started off with an FA Cup final win. An Anthony Gordon goal has given us a 1-0 victory over Crystal Palace of all teams in the FA Cup final. What a final this would be in real life, and I'm buzzing we've managed to get the win in this one. There'll be a few signings in the first team you do not recognise, don't you worry little heads, we'll go through them in just a second, but a 1-0 victory, a very good result in the FA Cup final. And what would be worse than losing one Champions League final? Losing a second 2 years in a row, this time with 2 Premier League rivals, Liverpool, a 2-0 loss. So this time we weren't actually massively overawed. We had 4 shots on target, 11 shots overall. Liverpool, however, did dominate the game and did eventually pick up a victory through a Darwin Núñez goal and Ruben Neves. We seemed to get a little bit aggressive with 6 yellow cards. Fabinho got sent off for them as well, so a feisty Champions League final in the Fußball Arena in Munich. But sadly, we did not come out on top. And the Premier League did go very well this season. Again, top 4, Champions League is secured again, which is exactly what this is about at the moment. Just keeping securing Champions League football so that we can basically keep competing at the highest end of football, getting the best signings in we possibly can. And hopefully this is going to help us to get there. Now, I have mentioned we've got some brand new signings coming in for this season, and there's actually 5 to go through. And we're going to start off with Tyreek Mitchell. And this is a player that I actually moved to Newcastle for my Eddie Howe tactic as the brand new left back to replace Matt Targett or Dan Burn. Simply didn't have the money season 1, so how unrealistic is that? But Tyreek Mitchell has been brought in for season 2, played 31 games and got 2 assists. A very good left back with great consistency, great pace and great tackling, and was certainly a need to be improved at left back. But that's certainly not the only first team player to come in, and it's the cover star Rafael Leao, a value of £200 million. We signed him for just £80 million, and I think this is actually not a massively unrealistic sign. And I think Rafael has the potential to come to a club like Newcastle, winning consistently in the Champions League, challenging for trophies. I can see this being a move that happens in a year or two's time. Could also end up going to Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Manchester United, any club he particularly wants. But we've signed him here at Newcastle. 17 dribbling, 16 first touch, 18 flair, 16 off the ball, 16 technique, unbelievable pace as well, and he's 6'2", extremely consistent, loves big matches, 18 goals and 11 assists in 35 games. And I was buzzing with the signing of Rafael Leao. Another one I was absolutely buzzing with, Dani Olmo, £38.5 million, very consistent, loves a big match, and has really brought some quality into this midfield, replacing Joe Linton as that Mezzala on support, a bit more creative about him, which is exactly sort of what I was looking to see. A bit great, well, some great dribbling, some great first touch, technique, off the ball, vision, flair, pace, he's got it all, and for just £38.5 million, 7 goals and 11 assists was an absolute no-brainer. The next signing is a backup goalkeeper, Dennis Seaman. It's not time to replace Nick Pope just yet, but we're going to bring in the young German to hopefully take his place in just a few years' time. 17 area area reach, very consistent. Again, a fantastic young goalkeeper. And you guys will certainly know who he is as well. If you've been playing FM, he is one of the best goalkeepers on this year's game. One game all season, didn't play too much, but certainly good to get in as a backup, get him training with the lads, and hopefully he could be an absolute superstar for the future. And I did say there was 5 signings, so there is just one more to come. And he played in the Champions League final, and that man is Antonio Silva. 60 anticipation, 16 concentration, 22 years of age. Some great pace, some great passing, some great sort of ball playing, defending attributes, which is exactly where he wants to progress. Next to Sven Botman with Mark Guehi as well. We've now got 3 very, very strong centre halves. He's scored 12 goals as well. He is 6'2" and is great at headers. £24.5 million. Very, very happy with this signing. And the outgoings, we sold Matt Targett, Luca De Bol, Laris Karius and Lewis Billy. We brought Sean Longstaff back in on a free transfer as well because he left, his contract ran out. We just renewed it because I needed a backup DM. Goran Kuller's got out on loan. Sean Mavadivi, Vilka, Nuademi have all got on loan as well. Hayden, Murphy and Anderson all also gone, and Anderson out on loan and actually progressing quite nicely. It'll be good to see if we can get him in the first team, but I'm not sure if he's going to progress well enough to break in to this absolute superstar struck team. I mean, we look at it now. Kieran Trippier at right back, Nick Pope in goal, Mark Guehi and Botman as the 2 centre backs, with Mitchell at left back, Bruno Guimaraes, Tonali, Olmo, Chiesa, Leao and Isaac. We're getting strong. And the backups as well. Dennis Seaman, Antonio Silva, Joe Willock has got fantastic potential. Anthony Gordon, Callum Wilson still loves scoring goals. So we are certainly now building a bit more of a squad. Back in the Champions League for Season 3, £170 million to spend. And the club info, we are now getting there. We are building the facilities to be much better. 14 on training facilities, 18 on youth facilities, 16 on junior coaching, 15 on youth recruitment. And the money is still looking very, very good. We have taken a big dip, but that Champions League money is going to come back in. Don't you worry about that. And also, if you guys don't know how to actually improve these bits, you just make a board request and improve your facilities, finance and network. There is all different things there, like improving youth recruitment, increasing next season's junior coaching budget, and obviously increasing training facilities, youth facilities and youth level are all key to making the club better, not just the team. And that is the goal for this Newcastle rebuild. But we need to go and win some trophies. Just the FA Cup has been ticked off so far. Let's go tick off a couple more for season number 3. The first signing for season number 3 is a 33-year-old Joao Cancelo. 6 foot, very, very good. Lots of Premier League experience, lots of Champions League experience, and he was actually wanted to leave by Manchester City after playing just 25 games the season before. He come in to Newcastle, £23 million, 27 games, a goal and an assist, and at sort of 33 years of age, to play 48 games overall is very, very good. A great attacking wing-back to replace Kieran Trippier, so we've got some proper experience on that right-hand side. Very, very consistent. I mean, it's Joao Cancelo. We all know who he is. He's absolutely fantastic. And the signing I made for the left-back position is also a very, very good one. It's Takahiro Tomiyasu. Now, you guys are thinking, this guy's a right-back. Well, he can actually play left-back as well. And our left-back position is a bit more of a defensive one, and he's very, very good. 46 appearances this season. Apparently, he's lost some trust in me. Don't worry, we'll sort that out. He'll be all good. Very consistent, very good at defending as well. Great teamwork, great work rate, great pace. And signed for £44.5 million after being in Ligue 1 for 2 years. He is now a mainstay in this Newcastle side, and is a definite massive upgrade for us because we really needed to improve that full-back role, and I think we've done that in them 2 signings. And another midfielder has been signed as well. Dani Olmo did very well in that first season, but I wanted to bring in another absolute superstar, and Hyori Shudakov is the signing we have made. He's 24 years of age. He's made 31 caps for Ukraine at just 24. Very consistent. Again, good in big matches. Played 38 games a season, 11 off the bench, 4 goals and 5 assists. A bit of a sort of playmaking sort of player. Great dribbling as well. I actually don't know much about this guy in real life. He is at Shakhtar, so maybe it's someone to, keep an eye on. Hyori Shudakov, where is he going to go in real life? Value of £70 million. We spent 40 on him, and hopefully he can turn out to be an absolute star for us in the years coming up. And the last signing to replace Fabian Schär, who has left the club on a free transfer as a backup centre-back, is Ethan Patera, and he is certainly going to be good enough for us. He is 21 years of age, 5'9", already got 2 caps for Belgium, some good potential on him, and really has been brought in as a decent enough backup. The outgoings are obviously Fabian Schär, Matt Targett has left the club, Loris Karius, Luca De Bol have also gone on free transfers, and a couple of youngsters have left as well. But you're wondering, season 3 with them signings, we must have won the league by now. we've won absolutely nothing. Again, the FA Cup is our only trophy 3 seasons in, and we're going to have to absolutely go for it from now on, because we need to win the Carabao, the Community Shield we're still not won, the Super Cup if we can, the Champions League and the Premier League in just 2 seasons, and hopefully we can do that. In terms of the data hub though, we are looking quite good still, you know, pretty much above average on everything, and the squad is certainly looking very, very good. This season I did lock in Dennis Seaman in goal. He is obviously 21 years of age and is now sort of starting to really progress. 60 appearances this season. He needed to be put into the team to hopefully reach that 4-star potential, because to be honest, finding a keeper is quite a bit difficult. I mean, Sandro Tonali and Bruno Guimaraes have been mainstays in the team. Sven Botman has actually played quite a few games at left back. Mark Gurhey and Antonio Silva very good at centre half. Tomiyasu at right back has played lots of games, as well as Cancelo. At the midfield, we've now got some great depth in Joe Willock. We've got Sean Longstaff. We've got Botero who can play in DM. We've got Danny Olmo, Joe Linton. Wingers wise, Chiesa, Leao. We've still got Seth Maximan. And we've still got Garang Kuhl, Anthony Gordon, Alex Isaac. We've got lots of players and things are progressing well. Again, club info wise, 18, 18, 17, 17. We are certainly building a very good club. We've had our first good youth player come through as well. Steve Brown, good striker, 5'9", very, very consistent. So I'll be interested to see what we can get out of this guy as well. But now we need to step into the big boy leagues. We have got £136 million spent yet again, and now we need to start winning some trophies. Season 4, let's start bringing them in. I hope you guys are enjoying this little rebuild. I've put a little bit more sort of pizzazz on the editing and everything, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. If you can, make sure to like the video. It helps me out massively, and a massive thank you for all of your support. Now, I said we're going to have to absolutely go for it this season. We've spent £100 million on a central midfielder. It's Oyan Sanchez, a 28-year-old central midfielder, and you guys are thinking, you spent £100 million on this guy, I've never heard of him. Well, he's from the Basque region, from Athletic Bilbao, so it's very expensive to get him out of where they come from. And hopefully, he's going to be very good for us. Played 34 games, 17 off the bench this season. Again, it's all about just improving the quality of the midfield. I think it's such a key area in this Eddie Howe team. We've got Bruno Guimaraes, Sandro Tonali, Sudakov, Sanchez, Joe Linton, Joe Willock, Sean Longstaff. Some quality players in there, and Sean Longstaff is getting a mention. You are correct. He is very consistent and loves a big match, is Sanchez, and hopefully is going to stay in this team for the next couple of years and hopefully win us some very important trophies. A backup goalkeeper in Arnau Tenias has also been signed. I think this guy played in the under 21s final, I think, in goal. I might be wrong, but age-wise, he doesn't look like he could have. But I remember the name, and I think it might have been him. Let me know in the comments, did Tenas play in that game? A backup right-back has been brought in as well as Serginho Dest. We get the clip-in of Danny Aarons. Some fantastic flair, acceleration, great passing. We know this guy. He's been over at Al Sadd for a year or two, and we've signed him. He's played a lot of games for us, to be fair, over 50 this season, and seems to have progressed much better than he might do in real life. Very, very consistent player. 2.5-star current ability, so there's still some room to be improved in that right back role, but hopefully he's going to certainly help us out. We've also brought in a serial winner at centre back. He's just moved to PSG in real life, but Milan Skriniar is the brand new centre back here at Newcastle. 52 games he played this season at 33 years of age, and he's an absolute demon. Very consistent. I love signing a consistent player, and hopefully he is going to be the man to lift us some trophies. 17 strength, 18 natural fitness, 18 determination, 16 heading, 18 marking, 17 tackling. The guy is an absolute demon, and is hopefully going to be the man to lift us some trophies. The question is though, have we lifted any trophies? Like I said, it's only been the FA Cup so far. We need to win the rest. And certainly we have won one. It's the Premier League trophy, the big one, the hardest one to win. You have to be consistent for 38 games, and by 1 point, we were the most consistent side. 38 games, 81 points. Alexander Isaac with 31 goals this season. This season, 50 games and 44 goals overall. Extremely consistent, loves a big match. This guy is outrageously good. He's now played 74 caps for Sweden, 48 goals, and for us, 89 goals in 125 games. He had an unbelievable season, as well did Rafael Leao. 11 goals and 19 assists. This guy is an absolute demon at left wing, and hopefully is going to stay here for many, many years to come. In our Premier League winning season, we didn't score the most goals, scoring 77. We didn't concede the least either, conceding 39, but we were the best team with the most points per game, which is the most important thing in the squad to get us there. Again, Dennis Seaman is certainly improving. 57 games, 55 goals conceded. It's now up to 3.5-star current ability, and it shows a few stats are going down, but this guy has really progressed from the very start of this save, which is fantastic to see. And the best 11 is Skriniar in goal, Tomiyasu, Skriniar, Gurhi and bot manager back four with Bruno Guimaraes, Tonali, Sudakov, Chiesa, Leao and Isaac. Arnau Tenyas, Antonio Silva, Oyhan Sanchez, Joe Linton, Tyke Mitchell, Danny Olmo, Steve Brown, the backup striker, Serginho Dest, St Maximan is still here, Ethan Batera, João Cancelo and Sean Longstaff. The squad is much stronger than when we started, and the club now as well, with 20 junior coaching, 17 youth recruitment, 18 youth facilities, 18 training facilities, is at an all-time high, and the Geordie club is now one of the best clubs to come to. We've got £102 million to spend. We need to win the Carabao Cup, we need to win the Champions League in Season 5 as well, so we can complete the clean sweep of winning the 4 big boy trophies, and hopefully that is exactly what we can do up next in season number 5. First off, the big boy trophy, the Community Shield, has been ticked off nice and early. 3 shots all game. It's a Rafael goal, which gives us the biggest trophy on the game. I wanted to complete this one as a little bonus challenge, and we have done, beating Arsenal 1-0 at the very start of the season. And the Carabao Cup final is the game up next, again against Arsenal. We're going to get things underway from a Skriniar header at the back post, Chiesa tapping it in for 1-0. Ugarte finds Havertz for Arsenal to find Bukayo Saka down the left-hand side. He's going to go all the way and blast it into the top corner to make it 1-1, but we're going to come back. It's going to be a clearance. It's going to get back in there. It's going to go out wide to Danny Olmo. He's going to beat his man Martinelli. And he's going to score an absolute screamer at the near post to make it 2-1 and to help us tick off the Carabao Cup. The only thing left, the Champions League. And I wish I could draw this one out even more than I already have, but it's Inter Milan in the 6th minute. Sanchez with the ball, finds Chiesa down the line, who finds Alexander Isaac in the box, and a scrappy 1-0 win lifts off the Champions League trophies, the dark arts of Eddie Howe's Atletico Madrid training days. 6 yellow cards, 57% of the ball. A lot of that was probably off the pitch, holding the ball in the corner, but we have won it. We've won the Champions League. We've not won the Premier League this season. We come runners-up in the FA Cup with a 3-0 loss to Liverpool, which is a little bit annoying. And we've fallen off the league to 74 points, 12 points behind Arsenal, but I don't care. We've won the Premier League, we've won the Champions League, won the FA Cup, won the Carabao Cup, and we won the Community Shield in just 5 years here at Newcastle, a club that haven't won a trophy since like the 60s, I think it was. I remember that from the Carabao Cup final when they were playing against United. There's been an outrageous amount of time since since Newcastle have won a trophy, and we've made a few signings to help it happen as well. Kieran Tierney coming this season for £40 million, 32 years of age, a very good backup left back or starting left back ahead of Sven Botman. Very, very consistent, and again, a very good player to bring in. And then I signed basically a couple of young players. We signed Cristiano, not that one, a new one. 5-star potential, 2.5-star current ability, very consistent. Played only 3 games this season, but with a name like Cristiano coming to England seemed right. And signed from Brazil. Hopefully you guys can make this guy an absolute star. Another big signing we actually did not make him was Leroy Sané, and he was actually very, very helpful. 21 games, 33 games off the bench. Again, 33 years of age on the back end of his career, but a very good season for us. 12 goals and 15 assists in all competitions. Very happy to get that one over the line. And then we signed 2 youngsters in Thomas Villanueva and Ben Hames as well. Again, 2 wonder kids for you guys to go ahead and use in the rebuild file. You've not only got the best team in the world, you've now got 20 youth facilities, 20 training facilities, 20 junior coaching and 20 youth recruitment. We have officially made the best club possible here in the northeast of England. You've got still £100 million to spend. You need to go win a treble, and that is your task in the Patreon. You've got some unbelievable players here. Maybe you want to move some of them on, but Alex Isaac, Rafael, Sane, Antonio Silva, Chiesa, Sudakov, Tonali, Olmo, Sanchez, Skriniar, Bruno Guimaraes are all here still and are ready for you guys to go ahead and use. Thank you for watching another reboot from myself. Make sure you're liking the video, subscribing to the channel, because we've got 2 more of these coming up just this week, so keep it locked. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll speak to you next time. Brighton certainly had a very successful 22-23 season, starting under Graham Potter, eventually him getting poached, but the grass was greener. Roberto De Zerbi is a fantastic manager, and he guided Brighton all the way to 6th place, and that has led to their 2-star men, Alexis Mac Allister and Moises Caicedo, being picked from them in this summer window. We're going to be looking to rebuild Brighton back to being in the top 6, and then hopefully building from there, lifting some trophies, maybe winning a Premier League or 2, getting in the Champions League and seeing what we can do with this wonderful club of Brighton. But without further ado, let's get into it. A fully realistic 5-year rebuild. What's going on there, guys? Kempi here, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another rebuild from myself. Yes, we are pumping the content out. We've had Feyenoord and Ajax in the last week, and now we have Brighton, and next week is going to be very, very fun as well. So make sure you're subscribing to the channel to keep up to date with all of these rebuilds. Today, like I said, is Brighton, and this tactic was built actually a couple of weeks ago. We'll go straight into the tactic. It's a Roberto De Zerbi recreation in a 4-2-3-1. You can see I've made a few signs already, and also got the realism of João Pedro in, etc. But we'll go through all of that in just a minute. So this tactic has been released on the channel. It was a couple of weeks back, so you might have to go and find it, and it'll be down in the description anyway, the link to the tactic. But if you want to watch the video on the results of this tactic, you can head over there. It is literally just, I think, 2 weekends back. Crazy couple of weeks. So this rebuild has been sitting here for a couple of weeks, already simmed. I've just not managed to get a time to get it out, you know, with everything else going on. And I'm actually excited because I've got no idea what happens. I've completely forgot where this rebuild goes, to be honest. So I'm looking forward to getting right into it. Now, you can see a few signs we have made on the screen, but I think it's key to go through all of the outs as well. So Mac Allister, 35 million to Liverpool. Caicedo, 70 million to Chelsea. The two big ones, the two reasons that Brighton need this little rebuild here. They're going to have a massive hole in their team next season. Two very influential players both leaving the club. So we've decided to keep it realistic. We've brought in James Milner-Dahoud and Bart Verbruggen, and then they have been heavily linked as well with Mohamed Kudus from Ajax. Now, this is an unbelievable signing if they manage to get it off. I'm not sure if they're going to be honest. He is an unbelievable player, but I picked him up, £52 million. They're not linked with too many players from what I can see, and he was one of the players they were most linked to, so I thought we might as well bring him in. Mo Kudus, fantastic player, can play on the right wing, can play cam, can play in centre mid, he can play up front, he can play on the left, he can play pretty much anywhere. So he's going to be a very influential player for us, only 22 years of age. Livy Colville I brought back in on loan, and as I record this, last night England under-21s won the European Championship, so massive congratulations to them, and he again was unbelievable. So I'm not sure if they're going to pull off this signing or loan in real life, because I think Chelsea might want to keep him around, but we'll see if we can keep him here at Brighton. He's back on loan for season number 2, and we'll see if he can do absolute bits as well. Wilfred Ndidi signed for 25 million from Leicester. DM obviously to replace Moises Caicedo. Ndidi relegated with Leicester last season. Fantastic DM. Had a bit of a drop off last season, but we know how good he can be from his 2 or 3 years before that, how good he was as a CDM. So hopefully Wilfred Ndidi can find back that form and help Brighton get back to the big time. Signing as a backup centre-back, Axel Tuanzebe, just been released from Manchester United, has had loans out in Napoli, at Villa. He was fantastic for Villa in the Championship as well. And I brought him in as a backup centre-back here. He's actually 3-star current ability, 3.5-star potential. Some really good stats on Axel Tuanzebe. I think he's just got very unlucky with injuries and bits in his career. I'm not too sure what's going to come up here, but yeah, 2, 3 months, 4 months, 3 weeks. So it's been a bit of a rough time for Axel Tuanzebe, but hopefully we can see and get the best out of him. That's a free transfer, so a good one. Yuri Bass has been brought in as a backup left back to Pervis Estupiñán, 2-star current ability, 4-star potential. We'll see if he develops into too much, but just a good backup. Beñat Turienses is a signing I've made as well, and load him straight back out to Real Sociedad. He is a fantastic CDM. I'm not sure if he played last night for Spain. He possibly did. 21 years old, Spanish, and it's absolutely fantastic. 5-star potential, 2.5-star current ability. I loaned him back out because obviously we just signed Milner and Dahoud in real life, as well as signing Ndidi. So I decided we'll get him out, back out on loan. Hopefully he can do bits over there and then come back to us as a top player. And Riley Owen is a free transfer as well. So I've got no idea who this is. He was released by Spurs. I don't know, remember signing him. We'll ignore Riley Owen, shall we? A few other players have gone out on loan and left on a free contract, but no one massive from what I can see. Money-wise, we are pretty set here at Brighton. We've got £125 million in the actual bank and still £50 million in transfer budget, which is great. There's a decent sort of pool of youth potential players. We've got 4-star youth facilities, 4-star training facilities. Our prediction this season is 10th, which is quite interesting. There's still some players to move on. There's a great potential here, obviously, Turientes, Kozlowski, Abdullah Sima, Simon Adin Greya, Cameron Pupignon, and the under-18s, again, there's a couple, but there is one man who is full of potential, and we all know who it is. It's Evan Ferguson. Now, I've had sims where this guy has turned out to be the best striker in the world. I've had sims where he turns out to be the most average striker you've ever seen in your life, which is the beauty of Football Manager, because it can go either way. When you load it up, he is certainly one of them players that has got a range of potential, so he's not always going to be at sort of 180 and he'll be the best player in the world. I think it's probably at 150 to 180. And how often do I see him become 150? Very often. He becomes the most average striker in the world, but hopefully that's not the case this time. He is going to be our striker for this season, and in fact our team this season, as well as a tactic, I'll go through it all, is going to be Robert Sanchez in goal, on support, sweeper keeper. I know there's a bit of, I don't know if he's going to stay or not, Robert Sanchez. Barbara Bruggen has been brought in real life as a fantastic young goalkeeper. Sadly on FM, he's not really got the ability, which is a bit annoying, which is why I kept Sanchez around. I wish Barbara Bruggen was better, but he's just not good enough to be a starting Premier League goalkeeper on FM. I think in real life it is a high potential he could be. Wing back on support on the right will sit narrower as Tariq Lamptey, and a wing back on support and sit narrow on the left as Purvis Estupiñán. Two back centre backs are Levy Colville and Lewis Dunk, same as last season. Both ball playing defenders on defend. That is the exact same back line as they had last year. We've got DLP on defend in the left DM role, and that is Mo Dahoud, a free signing in real life from Borussia Dortmund. Very good sign in my opinion. Fantastic to pick up on a free as well. And you can see already got a value of around 35 million. So great signing in him. And next to him is a Volante on support, dribble less and tackle harder. Wilfred Ndidi, already gone through him. Very happy with that signing. On the left hand side, the star man, Karel Matoma, inverted winger on attack, cross aim centre and tackle harder. We know how good this guy is. Unbelievable dribbling, unbelievable pace, great flair as well. Just 26 years of age. And I'm sure he's going to take the Premier League by storm for the next 3 or 4 years. Very consistent and loves a big match as well. Brand new signing as well, João Pedro in real life has been brought in. £30 million from Watford. Very consistent player. Decent shadow striker as well. Sort of great for this role. Is exactly what we needed, and he's been signed in real life. So very happy with that one. And Mokus as the inside forward on support on the right hand side with sit narrower. The shadow striker has got no firm instructions, I believe. I can't click on him, but I'm 99% sure he hasn't. And a complete forward on attack up front, Evan Ferguson. Shoot more often and tackle harder. Mentality wise, we're set to positive in possession. It's shorter passing, play out defence, be more expressive, overlap just on the left hand side, a slightly higher tempo and playing fairly wide. In transition, we are taking short kicks, distributing to the centre backs and the full backs, countering and counter pressing, and it's a high press system, a standard defensive line, preventing the short goal kick distribution and triggering the press much more often. I believe what I ended up doing was making De Zerbi my assistant at some point, so he'll be in charge of all the games, etc. I've probably not just done it yet as of the save file, but I'm sure I did do that. So De Zerbi is also going to be managing all the games. So Brighton, you've not lost your man, you've got his tactics, and now we've got a fantastic new season to go into this season with. We've got the Europa Conference League for some reason, maybe a little bug in the simulation, possibly. I'm getting a new PC next week, so all bits like that will be fixed. Potentially, I think they should be in the Europa League, so that's just an error that we need to fix. But Conference League this season, FA Cup and Carabao Cup with the Premier League also. Let's get right into it. Season number 1, how can we get on? Just a very, very quick interruption from myself. If you guys can like the video, subscribe to the channel and follow on all these 4 wonderful things. We've got Twitter, TikTok, Threads, Instagram, YouTube second account, and everything you can think of as well. And obviously a Patreon as well. And these Patreon members on screen, you guys are absolute legends and are genuinely making my dreams come true. So I'm so thankful to every single one of you. This Brighton rebuild file will be in the Patreon as this video comes out, as is every other rebuild file. So if you want to go on there and there's any rebuild files you would have wanted, I believe it's £5 a month, and you get access to all the rebuild files every single month. So massive thank you if you are doing that, and a massive thank you to the legends on the screen that have already done that. Now I'm coming back in a Europa Conference League final. We have won it 4-0. I wanted to get a little bit of gameplay with the tactic as well. It's a great ball there from Ndidi through to the star man, Karel Mitoma, for 1-0 in the 65th minute. We won the game at 4-0. So it was a tight game until we sort of opened up the gates. Mitoma on the ball. You can see João Pedro running in beyond Mo Kudus. We got Solly March out on the right as well. I actually believe Kudus is in cam. João Pedro's up front and March is on right wing for this goal. March goes alone with this one and blasts it across the goalkeeper to make it 2-0 in the 80th minute. And just 2 minutes later, we've got some lovely build-up play. Levi Colville playing in left-back, finding Karel Mitoma. Mitoma on the ball, a great switch again to Solly March, a great touch, and an unbelievable finish from Solly March, of all players, to be absolutely banging the goals in the Europa Conference League final. Again, some great play. Mulder into Kudus, a great ball over the top again, and with the pace of Karel Mitoma, we are an absolute masterclass on the counter-attack, and that makes it 4-0 and a very easy Europa Conference League final. You can see in the stats we definitely deserved a win. 19 shots to their 11 as well, so certainly the team on top in that one, and luckily we did very well in that, because in the league it all got a little bit too much. I think the squad depth certainly didn't help. We probably didn't have enough players in enough positions to really challenge in Europe, in the Cups and in the league, but luckily we absolutely smashed the Conference League. So we're back in the Europa League next season, which is good because I want to try and stay in Europe this whole time. It was a bit of a nightmare. Losing two of the best players, believe it or not, is quite painful for your team. It makes quite a big impact. I mean, in terms of the players scoring the goals, we had 19 coming from Ferguson, who played 26 games and 16 off the bench, 19 and 13 from Mitoma, 16 and 5 from Kudus, 12 and 8 from Pedro, 7 and 11 from Solly March, 7 and 4 from Adam Lallana, 5 and 7 from James Milner, 3 and 11 from Pascal Grossstill, Facundo Buonanotte with 2 and 2, 2 goals for Danny Welbeck as well. So maybe a backup striker for Evan Ferguson is going to be needed for this. And I mean, if you've seen the cover, if you've seen the thumbnail, you know who the cover star is. He's coming in at some point, which is going to be very, very exciting. But yeah, a decent enough season. We're predicted to come down in 10th. We've come 11th, but we've also won the Conference League. A very similar season to West Ham this season in real life, which I think we'll definitely take. We saw West Ham's sort of celebrations for winning this competition, so I think Brighton fans would take that as well. So season number 1 has gone fairly decent, not the greatest season of all. We've got £77 million to go out and spend. In terms of young players coming through the academy, we got a couple of 4-star potentials, but no one absolutely unbelievable. And then in terms of the club info as well, still 17 youth facilities, 18 training facilities. So a very, very well run club. But yeah, season 1, very, very quick update on that one. We won a competition, which is fantastic, but it's time to win a couple of more trophies and do better in the league as well. So season 2, let's get right into it. I'll show you the transfers and everything at the end of this season so we can see how they have done in their first season in the mighty blue and white. Well, I tell you what, we're just the absolute masters of Europe. A 2-1 victory in the Europa League final this season, this time against Aston Villa. João Pedro stick us 1-0 up in the 13th minute, and Aston Villa are going to come back in the second half to make it 1-1. You can see they're built up from the back here. Buendia on the ball, a ball over the top to Marcus Thuram, an unbelievable signing for Villa, who blasts it home, and then we ended up winning the game in the 120th minute for an Oscar Gluck goal. Brand new signing coming in. Fantastic one, the kid. We'll go through him in a minute. Dahoud with a great ball in behind to Mitoma, who cuts it back, and Gluck does put the ball in the back of the net in the 120th minute. I mean, Brighton, we've won the Conference League and we've won the Europa League already in season 2. We're an absolute European masterclass. We've done much better in the league this season as well, coming in 7th position. So quite happy with that, meaning 6 teams are going to be in the Champions League next season. We've got Liverpool in 1st, Arsenal in 2nd, and Villa, the team we beat in the final, coming in 3rd place. So Villa, a fantastically well-run club under Unai Emery, doing absolute bits. Carabao Cup and FA Cup, we didn't have very good showings in at all, but you know, it's not the end of the world. We move on. We've won a Europa League, so it doesn't really matter, does it? I mentioned signing-wise as well, we would need a backup to Evan Ferguson. The man I went with was Callum Wilson. This guy is always ridiculously good on Football Manager, and he carried that on in this save. 25 goals and 3 assists in 30 games, 15 off the bench. So probably about half and half coming from him and Evan Ferguson playtime, which is quite good. £14 million, very happy
with that signing. William Clem, again, I see as a very, very Brighton signing. A young Danish DM, 6'1", very good on the ball, great first touch. DLP on defend is what he's best at, so will fit in to that Mo Dahoud role very, very well in the future. Signed for just £5 million. Oscar Gluck was the signing we made from Salzburg, who obviously won us the Europa League final, now worth £80 million. An unbelievable signing it turned out to be. £16.5 million we spent on him, and is a fantastically talented young man. Israeli, 21 years of age. Again, fantastic value, great technique, passing, finishing is obviously good enough to win us the game. And right back up, even Fresneda was available for £8 million from Real Valladolid. Now, this guy is probably going to go one or two ways in real life. End up signing for like a Brighton, or end up signing for like a PSG. I mean, it's going to either, he could go literally anywhere. So I don't think it's massively unrealistic to bring this guy in, especially as, you know, after season 1, he's probably not done the greatest Avalia did, and we picked him up for just £8 million. Very, very happy with that one. And also we picked up Levi Colville on a full-time transfer, £52 million it cost us. But after 2 seasons on loan, he didn't want to go back to Chelsea with Noni Madueke. He wanted to stay here at Brighton, the club he truly loves. He's like Mason Mount, you know, he looks Chelsea, but he is just, you know, not. I love that. That's fantastic. £19 million in outgoings as well. Ayari was settled for £11 million. Sarmiento sold for £7.5 million as well. There's £61 million gone here as well, because Solly March left for £30 million. Veltman left for 13. Billy Gilmore left for 12.5. And Jan Van Poel Heke left for 4.8 million. And the squad for season 2 was looking like this. You know, you can see I tried to lock in Evan Ferguson for the end of the season because Callum Wilson was playing way too many games. 16 starts, 8 off the bench, 17 goals. So he certainly picked up a little bit. But again, it's one of them, he is not developing like sometimes he does. I've seen videos from, I think Jake Cooper has done one of him at Real Madrid, and he's like 1,000 goals in 10 years. So yeah, he's not developing quite as good as that, which is a bit of a shame. Goals wise, it has come from Callum Wilson and Evan Ferguson. Matoma again 14 and 16. Oscar Gluck with 10 and 11. João Pedro 10 and 11. Very happy with that. Mo Coolidge just 6 goals but 16 assists. Again, is absolutely fantastic. So happy with how the squad is lining up. I think we need a few more numbers in the team, to be honest. We are looking a little bit light. We've got just a 22-man squad. In terms of transfers, we have now got £108 million, £300,000 in wage budget as well. So let's go forward. Season 3, can we actually get into the top 4? Can we challenge for the Champions League? And we've won everything else, we might as well. And maybe even an FA Cup and a Carabao Cup. So let's get into it. Season number 3. So there's another £70 million spent this summer, and number 1 signing was Andre from Fluminense, a fantastic young Brazilian CDM, 15 to 18 million pounds. Very, very consistent. Loves a big match. 5'10". Already got a couple of caps for Brazil as well, and is a great signing. And again, a very Brighton signing. I mean, this is probably a year or 2 later than Brighton was signing in real life, a bit like Caicedo. They get in very early. Again, I can see this guy going somewhere like Brighton in real life. He is fantastic from the clips you see on Twitter, etc. A very, very good little player in Andre as well, and signed for just £18 million. David Raya is the goalkeeper I decided to sign. Bart Verbruggen not developing quite enough, and I thought David Raya at Brentford wants an upgrade and wants to come to Brighton. He is now 30 years of age, but certainly a very, very good goalkeeper. A big upgrade on Robert Sanchez as well, so happy to get him in. A decent enough season, 69 goals conceded and 55. Not too bad, not great, but you know, a decent enough goalkeeper, that is for sure. Benoit Badiashile has not progressed at Chelsea, so we brought him in here at Brighton for £28.5 million, meaning we've got Badiashile and Levi Colville at the back here at Brighton in just 3 years. But again, I think we've done it in quite a realistic manner. He has not developed the way Chelsea would have hoped, and this season for Brighton, he's done very, very well. 6.94 average rating, very consistent, loves a big match. Again, very, very happy to get him through the door. And Enzo Diaz is the last signing I made as well, another left back backup for Perez Estupinian, because Yuri Bass was not developing at all. Very consistent, again, loves a big match, was signed for just £10 million from River Plate, who was signed him for 2.2 from Talleres in Argentina. He's now come to Europe and has, you know, done decent. He's absolutely devastated because he played 4 games all season, but he's earning 40 grand a week, so he can stop crying, let's be honest. He'll be happy enough. A few players on the outgoings as well. There was, Kel Shepherd and Kadra and Diaga, Bass and Undav all left on loan because they were not quite doing the business. In the competition screen, we won another European trophy. The only one outstanding is the Champions League. We've won the UEFA Super Cup, which is quite cool. It's a nice little winner, 1-0 win against Madrid with Matoma winning that one as well. So we're an absolute European, masterclass here at Brighton, which is fantastic. FA Cup and Carabao Cup, again, Wolves isn't the most difficult of draws, but City in the fourth round is a bit annoying. Champions League, we got knocked out in the quarters by Barcelona. It was a we won 3-1 at home and lost 3-1 at the Camp Nou and lost 4-0 at home, which is very annoying. But would have been good to get through that one. League position-wise, you can see we're quite consistent in around this 6th, 7th place. And again, coming in 7th, quite funny, we take Brentford's goalkeeper. They go and do better than us straight away. They've got Jordan Pickford in goal now. Is he better than David Raya? That'd be really annoying if he is. He is, isn't he? Just like that. We've been absolutely mugged off by Brentford. But we're European champions. We're the best European team in the world. That's what happens when you win the UEFA Super Cup. And it's Brighton. So we're absolutely loving it. Data hub-wise, I'm aware I've not shown you guys this too much. It is very much like this with this De Zerbi tactic. With an underdog team doing quite well on goals conceded, doing quite well on goals scored per game. It's a very nice little graph pretty much every single season. But yeah, no highlights to show you today, sadly, which is a little bit annoying for this season. But certainly a decent enough season. Again, £60 million to spend. In terms of players coming through the academy, if we look at the under-18s, we got Christopher Stilianu, who was actually from the first season. He's actually looking quite good. Now got a very good value. Some great flair, bravery, technique, good finishing, etc. So we'll see what he can turn into. And in the under-21 squad as well, there's nothing really in there, but in the main squad, potential-wise, we've got a lot of very, very exciting youngsters. If I can find the reports button, that is. We've got Even Fresden Duff, Facundo Buonanotte, Oscar Gluck, Colville, Andre Pedro, Kudus, Ferguson, William Clem, just to name a few, all looking very, very good. So happy with them. Very, very good still. Happy with this rebuild and how it's going so far. That's season 3. We've got 2 more years to go. Are we going to win the Premier League, the Euro Champions League, FA Cup and Carabao Cup? Get it in the comments down below and let me know. What other trophies are we going to win? 2 seasons to go. Let's go straight into it. Season number 4. Brighton, European champions. Again, 3 out of the 4 seasons, we have won a European trophy. Started off with the Conference League, then we won the Europa League, and then actually we did win the UEFA Super Cup, and now we're winning the Europa League again. It starts off with 1-0 goal to Lazio in the 56th minute, but we get right back into it. Fresneda, a ball over the top to Oscar Gluck, and he's going to find, who's that? Tammy Abraham in the box to put us 1-1 in this game. Lazio now on the ball again. A high press system as De Zerbi does like to play. We've boxed him in. Evan Ferguson has got some passion about him. He stole it off him and he's absolutely blasted it in from 30 yards. In the 93rd minute, what an absolute screamer that is. And then Enzo Lafay, he's crossed it in. It's gone back out to him from the corner ball. He's going to turn his man, stick it into the outside to... Again, I've got absolutely no idea who this goal guy is because I've done this rebuild a couple of weeks ago, but Akechi Kolovole is someone that has come through the academy, I believe, and he's only 2.5 star potential, and he's just scored an absolute screamer in the Europa League final. So, fair play. It was this one performance for us all season, and he scored that goal to win us the Europa League final. Competitions-wise, coming in 7th place again. It's pretty much been 6th or 7th all this whole rebuild for us. Very consistent, and I think that's quite realistic in how sort of it could be for Brighton. If they can carry on doing what they're doing, it's going to be very difficult to break into the top 4, especially now with Newcastle and Villa doing absolute bits as well in real life. So Brighton have got a real battle on their hands to keep getting in Europe, but if we keep winning the European trophies, we'll keep staying in Europe. Now we saw a few new signings there. Most notably, the cover star, Tammy Abraham. Yes, he was outrageously expensive. Yes, it's a little bit unrealistic for Brighton to sign someone for £100 million, but I needed a striker. And I absolutely love Tammy Abraham, and he loves Brighton. 47 goals in 57 games, and he is exactly what we needed to sort of helpfully take us to that next level. Evan Ferguson has just not developed the same as we hoped he would. I mean, he scored an outrageous goal in that final, but he's not developed into what we hoped. Enzo Lafay, 25.5, going up to £40 million for him as well. Fantastic CDM, real great talent in real life as well, playing at FC Lorient. So very, very happy to get him over the line for 25.5. And Miguel Gutierrez is a young left back, signed for £25 million from Girona, value of £40 million already. Sales-wise, Tariq Lamptey left to Newcastle for £45 million. Dahoud has gone to Leicester for 16. Enzo Diaz and Callum Wilson both going to Celtic as well. He didn't even, I thought he would have absolutely murdered the Celtic, the Cinch Premiership. Didn't play a single game, Callum. Absolutely shocking. And the other signing we made as well was Jan Couto, a free transfer from Manchester City, backup right back. Very happy with him. Exactly what I would have wanted as a backup right back for free as well is fantastic. Tuanzebe, £23 million back to Napoli. He actually developed quite well, played 75 games for us overall and has just played a full season in the Serie A. So I'm happy I got Axel's career back on track, which is great. Robert Sanchez at the club for £9 million. David Evans and a few others also leaving the club. But the squad is looking very, very strong if we pick it by the best 11. You can see it's David Raya in goal, Ivan Fresneda at right back, Levi Colville, Badashil and Gutierrez as the back four, Andre Anandidi in front of that, João Pedro on the right, Kudus on the cam, Mitoma on the left and Abraham up top. Bench-wise, Bart Verbruggen, Estupinian, Enzo Lafi, Oscar Glut, Jan Couto, Jakob Moda, Evan Ferguson, Adam Webster, Facundo Buonanotte, Julio Enciso, Lewis Dunk and William Clem. Julio Enciso simply does not have potential on FM. I wish he did again, but sadly he has just been a very average player for us, unlike what I think he'll be in real life. Do not slander me in the comments. He has got 3-star potential ability and does not develop on Football Manager. Hopefully next season, that is a completely different story. But that was season 4. We've won another trophy, another Europa League. It'll be good to maybe win something else other than a European trophy. An FA Cup or a Carabao Cup would be the goal for season number 5. Let's get right into it. Season 5. What can we win? Let's see what we can do. Before we do get into season 5, a massive thank you for getting this far. If you can, make sure to like the video down in the description below. That would be absolutely massive as well. Massive thank you to the Patreon members on the screen now. You are all absolute heroes, so thank you very, very much. You are making my dreams come true. And even when I feel like I do today, like I've been pushed through an absolute train wreck, I'll make sure to get the content out for you guys because your support has been unbelievable. So thank you so, so much. We have got another bit of gameplay to show you. You got to guess though which trophy it is. I'm clearly not loading up which game it is, which is why I am delaying. But it's not the Europa League, it is not the Champions League, it is not the Premier League. It is the FA Cup, and we've beat Spurs in the final of this one. Abraham finding Wilfred Gnonto on the right-hand side, an unbelievable signing, who then finds Abraham, who has burst his way all the way into the 6-yard box and stuck us 1-0 up, which is absolutely fantastic to see. Abraham again linking up the play in that striker role as that complete forward. Finds Mitoma on the left, Gnonto pure pace on the right-hand side, finds a great ball in to guess who? Tammy Abraham in the 6-yard box again with another fantastic finish. And it's 40 minutes in, we're 2-0 up. Enzo Lafi absolutely murders En-Nesyri, but the ball eventually finds Galleno, who finds Edouard, who's going to round the goalkeeper, and Spurs are going to make it 2-1 to us. But, you know, we're not finished here, are we? Let's be honest. We've got another goal to come. It's going to be Christian Romero on the ball. He's going to find Thierry. He's going to find Edouard up top again. And it's a great touch from Edouard and a great finish to make it 2-2. There's 2 goals on my top bit here. It says it's 3-2, and one must have been disallowed for Spurs. And the 88th minute, again, Abraham dropping into the hole. Kudus, a outrageous ball through to João Pedro. And in the 88th minute, we make it 3-2. And Spurs still have not won a trophy. And Brighton have won the FA Cup, the Europa League twice, the Conference League, the Super League, the UEFA Super Cup twice as well, after we battered Bayern Munich, a hat-trick from Tammy Abraham, who again scored 41 goals in this season. And in the league, we actually come 5th as well, so back in the Champions League, even though we got knocked down the quarters by Bayern, who got a little bit of payback on us for us battering them in the Carabao Cup we didn't manage to win, which is a little bit sad. We got 3rd rounded by Newcastle again. I said that Spurs haven't won a trophy and I hope they actually hadn't, and they actually still haven't won a trophy. So how very Spursy of them. Transfers wise this season, we brought in a few very, very good players. We brought in Thomas Bartoloni from Belgrano, a backup young centre-back, £21 million worth of wages. Again, I do make these signings for you guys so that when you pick up this rebuild file, there is some fantastic wonder kids in there as well. So he looks fantastic. We've got Juan Carlos Adronaz as well, another backup young centre-back, £25 to £30 million value. And the big signing, Wilfred Gnonto. How much did he cost us? About £50 million, rising to £70 77, outrageous pace on this guy, and you saw in that final what an absolute danger man he is. 11 goals, 11 assists this season in 45 games. Very happy to get him in. Evan Ferguson is still here. Played one game all season and now wants to leave. And as you can see from his stats, he's just not developed. So the curious case of Evan Ferguson goes on. And quite simply, I just do not understand why sometimes he is the best striker on the game and sometimes he is completely bog standard average. But that has been your Brighton rebuild. We've been in Europe every single season. We've won 2 Europa Leagues, a Conference League, an FA Cup. Can you take this team to now winning a Premier League title? That is down in the Patreon below. Thank you for watching the video. Make sure you're liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and I'll speak to you next time.